All right, so today I'm joined by Michael Doshier, the writer and star of the new queer film Throuple. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So first off, tell me, how excited are you for Throuple to be available to stream on major platforms like Deku, Amazon, and iTunes?
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. I am so excited. I feel so grateful to Deku for being such incredible partners and getting the movie out there to the world. And we shot it back in 2022, and then it's done its festival life, and it's just time for the public to access this movie that we're so proud of. So I could not be more excited.
Awesome. So Throuple draws heavily from your own personal life. What was the moment you knew these deeply personal experiences could and should become a film?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've always been really drawn to writers and filmmakers that mine their own personal experience for
Mhm.
their stories. So, one of my favorite filmmakers is Miranda July, who, broke out with Me and You and Everyone We Know. And it was sort of, as a kid, when that movie came out, that really kind of opened my mind to how much drama you can just find within your own life and your own heart. And then, there's been obviously amazing filmmakers since that have continued that lineage, like Lena Dunham and Issa
Mhm.
Rae. So that's always been my kind of like North Star in a sense, creatively, is like what's going on in my life that can be dramatized and heightened to a compelling narrative.
Mhm.
And I think with Thruple, it was also, just a purely kind of logistical and budgetary thing too. The goal was to make something contained and with the resources that we had. So that obviously limits the scope also to something kind of personal, and because you're just looking around at what is available to you. And I just felt really like there was something interesting going on in my life where I was third wheeling a bunch. I had my best friend Tristan was in her first romantic relationship as captured by the real Tristan in Thruple. And at the same time, I was going on dates with married men for who are opening their relationships
Mhm.
uh, to explore other options besides their primary partner. And I just kind of felt like, whoa, I'm in this kind of weird pattern where I'm third wheeling. And that was the moment where I was like, there's something here worth exploring, worth writing about, and there might be a movie in this.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, how did your background as a queer indie musician influence the tone, rhythm, or emotional resonance of the film?
Yeah, sure. The movie is in a lot of ways about music, it's my character is an aspiring musician, but he's so in his own way. He can't get himself to actually perform. And so I think that mirrors my own life at the time. Tristan, my best friend, who is played in the movie by Tristan Carter Jones herself, she is in a very amazing and successful band called Dakota Jones. And I was writing Thruple in a time in my life where I was, just kind of putting my foot out there at open mic nights. But I was going to her shows and seeing her kind of sell out these venues in New York and
Mhm.
have these electric sets that everyone just like was blown away by. And that energy was pulsing through my life as I was writing the movie. So I think that without talking too much about sort of visual choices, because I, give all that credit to our director Grayson Horst and our DP Martin Blanco. But as a writer and as a visualizer of what I hoped Thruple would become, that kind of like flashy art scene, bold, loud music
Mhm.
that I was seeing at these venues, watching Tristan or in the open mic nights. I mean, that's what I was hoping the movie would feel like a great night out with some of the best underground artists you've ever seen.
Perfect. With the film navigating the complexities of polyamory and evolving friendship dynamics, what were some of the biggest challenges in portraying these themes authentically without cliche?
Yeah, I think. that, my brain goes to um, it's been really, so far, really well received by the poly people that have seen it and spoken to me about it afterwards at film festivals
Mhm.
and people in open relationships. And that's an honor and exciting. And that was one of my goals, was to write something that reflected the new reality that I was seeing, which was that at least, queer people in my life, and I think now some straight people are very much a part of this as well, but
Mhm.
at least when I was writing it in 2018, queer people in my life were opening their relationships and opening their understanding of what love could look like. And it was working for them. It was beautiful. It was opening new portals of understanding of themselves and their partners and the world. And it didn't have to be this dramatically kind of a bad experience. It could have levity, it could have
Yeah.
excitement, it could be a self exploration that's really beautiful. And so Throuple is not void of drama, but because a movie void of drama is not a very compelling film.
Exactly.
But it's not and my take on it is like the drama does not come from the any sort of idea that open relationships are inherently not going to work or flawed. It's the drama comes from flaws of the characters and their communication. And I think that starting the project in this place of open-mindedness as to like what relationships can look like without any sort of judgment
Mhm.
allowed for the piece to have that level of nuance where there's no kind of pre prejudgment on what relationships can or should look like.
Mhm.
And the friendship too between Michael and Tristan's partner, that's not a romantic throuple that he's in, but it is a sort of chosen family throuple that he's in that looks weird to sort of mainstream
Yeah.
understanding of relationships. So I just think that like I just went in with kind of a very open mind as to what relationships could look like.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Because in many ways, Throuple shows that friendships can be just as emotionally complicated as romantic relationships. So that wasn't really part of your vision for the film at first. It just kind of organically happened.
Well, yeah, I mean the sort of dual throuple was always part of it, the sort of friendship throuple and the romantic throuple. And I always wanted to, at the end of the day, the DNA of the film is kind of split down the middle in regards to which throuple you're spending time with. And I
Mhm.
think that part of the goal there was always to show that like in my experience, these kind of like queer families and these chosen families and these friendships, they are their own kind of like intimacy that maybe the film might even argue is like just as important, just as vital as
Yeah.
any sort of romantic intimacy. Because in rom-coms and in Hollywood and in life, it's so stressed. The finding your partner romantically is like the end goal and as end all be all. But I think that Thruple, one of the original goals from the beginning was to say, there is like deep, deep spiritual entanglement and like in these friendships, that is
Yeah.
just as important and just as enriching in one's life than romance.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what else do you ultimately hope audiences take away from the film?
Well, I really hope that audiences take away that it's okay to go after the desires of your heart,
Mhm.
even if that's scary, even if that is something that feels radical. Like if you've never seen what you want before, or it's not, the main mode of representation of what a relationship looks like or what a person should want, or
Mhm.
it's still okay to go for it. If you're not hurting anyone and you're clear about what you want, I don't see anything wrong with just going after what you want in life. And ultimately, that's what the main character must realize is that it's up to him to self-actualize his life the way he wants it, even if it looks different than what he may have been taught a life should look like.
Hmm.
And then also, just especially in today's climate, I just really want to show people that being queer is amazing and fun, and that queer people, in my experience, have each other's back and are beautiful, well-meaning people. Because there's no real enemy in Throuple, and Throuple is comprised of basically an all queer cast. It's There's no real enemy. It's all the enemy is within. It's like a man versus self journey, and I think we're in a moment where, queer people are being demonized left and right. So we shot Thruple a while ago, but I'm really glad that it's coming out now because I think it's a piece that shows, in my experience, queer people are really just wanting what's best for each other.
Definitely, I agree. Well, Michael, have you always had a passion to pursue entertainment in some way?
Yes, yes, I have. I was putting on, concerts for my parents in the backyard as a child, of all the pop girls. I went to school for screenwriting. Yeah, it's always been my dream to have a feature film that kind of encapsulates what I'm thinking about in the moment. So this is a big, exciting moment for me.
Definitely. So, is Throuple the first major film that you worked on?
It is, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, as an artist and storyteller, what have you personally gained from this project?
Yeah, yeah. So I think that one amazing thing about Thruple is that it taught me the value of collaboration.
Hmm.
And honestly, we all know that collaboration is important, but this really, really taught me that on a very, very, very big in a very big way. Because as Thruple developed and it became not just a script, but a script with producers attached, and then a script with a director attached, and then a cinematographer, and then hair and makeup, and then set or production design and costume design, and you go down the line, and a million people make a movie, even one as small as this one,
Yeah.
in scope. It just deepens the nuance of the thing. It's like the more if you have a good team, and we had a really good team, the more talent and perspective and point of views you bring to the table. If you're all telling the same story, which we luckily were, it just brings so much more to the film than you could ever imagine as its
Mhm.
writer, and the actors too. I mean, just to hear your words read by, or not read, performed and
Mhm.
embodied by people who are masters of their craft as actors, is a great thrill of my life because I love these performances so much. So I would just say that Thruple has taught me the amazingness and importance of all of these collaborators that you work with when you make a film.
Definitely. Would you say Thruple has opened the door to new creative territory for you?
Definitely. I think that my brain goes a couple different places. One, I feel so grateful to have met all of these people, and I hope to follow their work and champion their work and vice versa and continue to work together. I definitely have my go-to uh, collaborators now for anything I do in the future because of Thruple. And then two, I just think that like in any, for any creative person, like when you get to tell one story, it feels like kind of a purge of those themes and ideas from your brain, and you can kind of move on to new themes and ideas that you're reckoning with. And maybe part of that's just getting older and moving on to new thoughts. But I do think that like it's powerful to get something out there, and then it frees your brain to think about new ideas. So on a very pure level, I think getting Thruple out of the system has allowed for a deeper understanding of the world, and for my next projects to explore new ideas.
Awesome. Well, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your career?
I am from Arkansas originally,
Okay.
and so I have a really deep connection to the South and love of the South, and Definite love of queer people in the South because it's very different to be queer. I'm not, saying anything, but like everyone knows this, but it certainly is very different to be queer in the South and the Midwest than it is to be queer in New York or LA. And I
Mhm.
feel like I have all those experiences, and I really want to go home and make a film in Arkansas or the South to highlight the intricacies of that experience and the nuance of navigating a red state as a
Mhm.
queer person.
Okay.
So a lot of my scripts that I'm developing now are set in the South, and I hope to get to do that soon.
Okay, perfect. Where are you based at now?
I'm in Los Angeles
You're in
now.
Los Angeles. Okay, and what part of Arkansas are you from?
I am from Conway, Arkansas, which is really close to Little Rock, the capital. Very
Okay,
close. Very
okay,
surrounding.
okay, because I live in St. Louis, so I'm
Oh,
right.
cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
live on the Illinois side of St. Louis, so I'm right across the river. And I had some family who lived down in Mountain Home, Arkansas, so
Yeah.
I'm a little familiar with that area. So
Totally. I like Mountain Home a lot,
yeah,
actually. It's awesome.
it's very pretty down there. Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. Just like the experience of being queer in the South and in the Midwest is very different than what is from New York or LA or another major
Yes.
city. So yeah, that's very exciting that you're doing some projects like that. So we can't wait to see it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so
Of
much.
course. Well, Michael, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
Yes. So Instagram is great. I'm at Michael Dozier. Throuple is at Throuple the movie,
Mhm.
and we will announce every update that comes our way about Throuple there. The moment we get the news, you'll get the news too. So yeah, I would say following us on Instagram is a great place to start.
All right, perfect. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
Oh, great question. I would just say, if you're interested, and I'm honored if you are, the Instagram is great because I'm shooting a short in Missouri in over the summer, and I'll post about that
Mhm.
there. So I'm working with the Missouri Film Office, which has been super exciting to shoot a short there that will bring a lot of this queer energy I'm talking about to the screen in Missouri. And then just stay aware of the thruple updates because that's going to be so exciting to see that available to the world after all these years of development and then festivals. So we're super grateful for Deku for bringing that to the masses. So just follow along on Thruple the movie for that.
All right, fantastic.